So, for this legacy of the Sega Dreamcast, I'm gonna play what is undoubtedly one of my all-time favorite games, like literally one of my favorite games of all time. And in addition to that, it is my favorite Sega Dreamcast game. Yeah, that's right, Soul Calibur. This game is indeed, in my opinion, the best Sega Dreamcast game. Now, as far as what your favorite is entirely subjective. And honestly, the Dreamcast is one of those consoles where you can pick any one of them as your favorite. Games like Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, or Grandia 2, you know, Cannon Spike, Capcom vs. SNK 2, Shenmue, you know, Giga Wing, Power Stone. Like, this is a console that's home to some of the best games ever made, to the point where you can pick your favorite and no one would argue with you, especially because for each game, you can have your own reasons. And it's easy to kind of see why these games, why any of them would be picked as someone's favorite Sega Dreamcast game. It is no question about it. It's a console that has a lot of great games, so much so to the point where I am willing to say that it is indeed my favorite Sega console of all time. I just want you to also get a glimpse of how amazing this intro is here. And to be fair, Soul Calibur has always had amazing intros, but this one is just peak. The music, the editing, the animation, peak Soul Calibur. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is
Soul Calibur.
You couldn't have said it any better. Now, why don't you say we do it? This is one of the only games where I can play it on the hard difficulty, which is exactly what we're gonna play it on. Which means you might hear me curse a bit, so if you don't like cursing, you may want to cover your ears.
Welcome back.
No censorship here. I'm gonna go with Siegfried because he is indeed my main character. If it ain't him, Taki. Taki is the only other character who I can really get down with. Let's do this. Oh. You know, for a second there, I thought I was gonna whiff that entire attack. Now, Sophitia, probably one of the best female characters in fighting games. Literally, peak female heroine. Ooh, she's actually like, if you've never played Soul Calibur before, Sophitia is actually a very good character to start with because she has a lot of very easy to use. She has a lot of tools in her arsenal. She even has a parry move as well, where she could easily counter you. Easily mobile. She's just a very beginner-friendly character, and her combos are so easy to execute. Therefore, if you play Soul Calibur for the first time, pick up Sophitia, just because she'll be the character who will help you get used to the mechanics of the game. Siegfried is a slow character. He's a slow-ass character. Definitely not beginner-friendly. He's very much a power character. Power, range, and all of that. The only problem is that he's slow and sluggish, but if you can get used to playing with him, he is super fun. Wow! And yeah, Siegfried does think he's Cloud. In fact, for those of you who don't know, Siegfried is actually the series protagonist, as the majority of the story revolves around him, basically trying to atone for the sins of his past. He's a character where, when he was younger, he killed his father. Yeah, he killed his own father, right? The problem is that he became so disillusioned and traumatized by the whole incident that he tried to convince himself that he didn't do it, that he just did it unwillingly, like someone else did it. He essentially was running away from the truth. And when he did that, he came into contact with an evil sword known as Soul Edge. And when he wielded Soul Edge, it basically manifested. He basically manifested to this really dark creature as a result of his dark side overwhelming him. Like the evil within the sword overwhelmed him, and he became a being who would become known as Nightmare. And so now, Siegfried is on a quest to atone for his sins and put an end to Soul Edge. He's a super tragic hero. He is quite literally a tragic hero. Siegfried is easily one of the greatest fighting game protagonists of all time. His complexity, his character arc, and everything. Easily one of the greatest fighting game characters of all time. Siegfried.
You win.
He's up there with Jin Kazama, Ryu, Terry Bogard. He's up there with them as one of the greatest protagonists in fighting games. No doubt about it. Some people may disagree with me on that, but that's the good thing about making these kinds of like videos or these streams or whatever, is that you don't have to agree with me. Uh-oh. No! Poked him right in the stomach. Watch this. Blah! Right in the stomach.
Battle 2, fight.
Oh yeah, and the combat of this game is so much better than Soul Blade. Even though I still love Soul Blade, the fluidity of the movement in this game is so much better. This was the first of the series to integrate the 8-way run system, where you could just freely walk around and do it. You know, you can literally just freely move around. There's so much mobility that this game gives to you. Like, see? Like, you don't have to double tap to, like, sidestep. You can, but you don't have to. You just hold up, and then you go around, vice versa, and all that stuff. The freedom of the movement is what made this game legendary. Oh man, I thought she was gonna do a move. Something told me she was gonna do a vertical. And yes, the game is consolidated in 3 unique attacks. There's vertical, like that. There's horizontal, which is actually helpful against sidestepping. And then there's the kick button. 3 ways of attacking. So it's very, very unique as far as how the combat is. And I know that there's a lot of you out there that's familiar with Samurai Showdown, which did come first. I think it's safe to say without Samurai Showdown, we never would have gotten Soul Calibur, if I'm being honest. The only thing is, though, is that in terms of popularity, Soul Calibur ended up becoming the more popular franchise over Samurai Showdown. That isn't to say that Sam Show isn't worth a damn. Sam Show is considered one of the greatest fighting game franchises of all time. It's just that Soul Calibur, especially because of how technologically advanced it was for the time period when it came out, easily outshines Samurai Showdown, which was still in 2D.
You win.
So there's a plethora of reasons for why Soul Calibur ended up becoming more popular than Samurai Showdown, even though Sam Show came out first. I love both franchises, if I'm being completely honest with you. They're both very great. The only thing is, though, is that I will go ahead and admit it, I am more of a Soul Calibur guy, but that's because I grew up on the series. I grew up with Tekken and Soul Calibur as a kid. So, it's mostly, like, my attachment to the series as far as, like, you know, nostalgia and everything, which is why I have a special preference for this series. In fact, Mitsurugi, he's another one of the greatest fighting game characters ever. Both him and Haomaru from the Samurai Showdown series, who was also the protagonist of that game, they were both based off of the real-life swordsman Miyamoto Musashi. He was a swordsman that lived all the way back in, like, I think the 1580s, in the 1600s in Japan. And he was known as the greatest swordsman who's ever lived. And Mitsurugi and Haomaru are both inspired by that character. What's more is that, speaking of Haomaru, he would eventually go on to become a guest character in Soul Calibur 6. And there's a special dialogue that he has with Mitsurugi. Mitsurugi's like, "It's about time you showed up." And I remember seeing it, I was just like, hey! I'm like, Mitsurugi and Haomaru in the same game. And even Mitsurugi was like, "It's about time you showed up." And their personalities are very similar. It's like, Soul Calibur is just a phenomenal fighting game series. It's phenomenal.
Versus Inferno. Battle.
Oh, we're really gonna go there? Ooh. Nice try. Oh my god. Don't fuck around. Don't fuck around. Don't fuck around. Oh, okay. I almost screwed up.
You win. Battle 2. Fight.
Think about that. I'm playing this game on hard, and I was able to commentate and still deliver the best gameplay I can at the same time. I am a beast. I am a beast. And I'm here to feast. Yeah, you dead now, Inferno. You dead.
You win.
Such a phenomenal game. I don't know how else to explain it. If you've never played Soul Calibur in your life, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? You need to put down whatever you're playing right now, grab a Dreamcast, and play this. You don't even have to grab a Dreamcast, even though I would recommend that because you get the authentic experience, but just download it on an emulator. Right now. Right now. You watching this right now. Stop what you're doing right now and play Soul Calibur. Right now. Right now. Right now. Like, literally right now. Right the fuck now.
The legend will never die.
It's just such a phenomenal game.